The Last of Us Part 2. I've wanted to do a video on it for a long time, but never thought it would matter. Everybody's already seen it. Everybody's already, everybody already knows what it is. You've either played it or you've watched a review, you've read articles, whatever. But I just replayed through the game again because I wanted to do this video, and oh my god, I can't help myself. I also watched the Cosmonaut Variety Hours episode on it. I just want to talk about that real quick. He said that Joel wasn't a beloved character and people were just mad because he died. But that's not true. People were mad because of the way he died. Joel was a beloved character, but he wasn't a good guy. Beloved doesn't make them a good person. It just means people like their character. And a lot of people liked Joel's character. So how are you going to sit there and say that Joel isn't a beloved character? And people are saying that Joel took a choice away from Ellie where they could have made a cure. But Joel didn't take the choice away from Ellie because they didn't give Ellie a choice. They were just going to kill her and try and make a cure. They didn't ask her what she wanted. They didn't even, let her wake up. They were just going to immediately kill her. So it doesn't feel right to say that he took the choice away from Ellie. And it just, the first game had such a good story, just leaning off of the two characters and making you like them, making them into beloved characters. Just for someone to say they weren't is wrong. And the story of this game, like I said, it's not supposed to be a fun game. I get that, and it's got good gameplay. The gameplay is fun. The story is, I don't like it. I like some of it, and I don't like the rest of it. I didn't like that Joel died, but that's not the part I'm mad about. I'm mad that Joel gets killed by a random person we don't know, and then you have to play as her. You played as her before, and you play as her after Ellie's section of the game, just to go back to Ellie, and then back to Abby, and then back to Ellie for the end of the game. So I'm gonna go over the gameplay first. The combat is very fun. I like on harder difficulties. Melee is satisfying with the new dodging and the swift attacks and strikes. And the guns are nice. They, you only find one bullet every once in a while. It makes you feel like supplies are very, very limited. But there is a downside to that of it just kinda, when you get into Seattle and you got infected and people coming at you, it's harder to save supplies like it was in the first game for bosses. You kind of have to use everything you have to survive. So that's why you're gonna end up using melee a lot of the time. And the melee weapons, there are a lot more of them. There are crowbars, hammers, metal pipes, the wooden planks, axes, machetes, but those are no longer one-hit kills, which I like. just kind of gives it more of a realistic feel. And you have more maneuverability. You can climb more things, you can swing on ropes now to solve puzzles, you can do a lot more stuff that you couldn't do as Joel. And, you know, that's why I really liked Ellie's parts, because it made it feel like you were really just trying to survive and get revenge for Joel. While in Abby's parts, you get a bunch of ammo, you get a bunch of crafting things. You can craft incendiary shells for Abby's shotgun. You just get a flamethrower, you have a better pistol, you have a semi-automatic rifle instead of like Ellie's bolt action. It just... Abby's the main focus of this. But they had it advertised as Ellie's revenge story. But it doesn't feel right to call it Ellie's story. They should have just made a game before this of Abby's story. Make you feel more invested in that character and, you know, have a story set up with Abby, Ellie, and then they get to Jackson, figure out who Joel is, and kill him. Then you would be in more of an emotional conflict trying to figure out which character you like more. But instead, she just shows up and kills Joel. It doesn't seem right. They just kind of gave up on Joel's story altogether, except for in flashbacks. That's the only time you get anything from Joel. The main character in the last game dies in like 5 minutes of him being in the game. It's not right. I'm gonna compliment Abby real quick. Her combat is a lot more fun than Ellie's. Her melee especially, where you can just run in and start punching zombies, and like she'll have animations where she like breaks their necks or just like punches them in the leg and beats their face in. It's hilarious. It's really fun to watch and play. Jesus. Them straight in the face. Versus some old gameplay I have from the first game. Pretty sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Pretty sure. See, not as good. So they definitely had a step up in combat gameplay. And some of the story is good, some of it's bad, but the gameplay segments in between main story parts are the one part that's good throughout most of the game when you're playing on a higher difficulty. I'm not sure what all else is wrong with this. There's a lot. So, they just kind of give up Joel's name immediately. Tommy's just like, oh yeah, I'm Tommy. That's Joel. And then they immediately go with Abby to the cabin where her friends are. That they don't know. They don't know how many of them there are, and they don't know the real reason that they're there. And they just go and trust everyone immediately. What?
Hey, I'm Tommy. That's Joel. What's your name?
Jesus Christ, Tommy, why?
You okay?
Why would you say he's Joe?
That ain't gonna hold. We gotta go back. We can outrun them all the way to Jackson. We need to barricade that door. Tommy, we cannot stay here. Horses ain't making it all that way.
My friends are in a mansion just north.
Do not go to that mansion, Tommy. Joel. Tommy. No. Moron. Yeah. Joel is way too trusting, and I've seen people saying that being in Jackson made him more trusting, trying to bring people into Jackson. No, Joel would be trying to protect the people in Jackson at any cost. He would not trust a bunch of strangers he finds. Not trust the random girl he finds to take him to a cabin where her friends are. I don't care what's going on in that moment, he wouldn't do it. He would probably die before putting everyone else in danger. And Tommy just says Joel immediately. Like, they have to know to not just give his name up to every single traveler that they find, right? And immediately tell them where they are, not knowing if they had a larger group of people looking to come kill them. This is not the Joel that we know. It's just not. He is not the same character, and I get that time has passed, and he might have, gotten more comfortable inside the Jackson, but he goes out a lot, He's not just inside Jackson all the time. He knows not to trust people, plus he still has Ellie and Tommy. He's got everyone in Jackson, and you can clearly tell that they liked him because, when Ellie goes back to his house after he's killed, there are a bunch of flowers and everything laying in front of his house. So it's clear that people liked him. So why would he just trust them immediately? It doesn't make any sense.